3, 2, 1. Welcome to the David the Dog Trainer Podcast, episode 165. Here
Hello.
we are. Let me get this volume up a little bit. Oh, yeah, that's better. That's better.
Ooh, can you hear yourself now?
I can hear myself a little bit better.
Okay.
All right, so today, here we are. We got a recommendation in the comment section about some video going around called The Story of Woo. So we haven't done a little YouTube video reaction in a while, so I figured we'd take today as an opportunity to do it. This is a video that, it looks like it's a 2-part video. I don't know if we'll get through all of it. We'll watch some of it, though.
Okay.
But Canine Intuition posted this. And basically what I was told in the comment section, and it's funny because Michelle, my one-on-one trainer, texted me last night because she saw in the comment section that somebody posted, like, watch this video.
Okay.
And Michelle texted me basically saying, you know, she got through like 3 minutes of it and had to turn it off because it was frustrating her.
Oh, great.
So I think just based on what people said in the comments, this woman has this dog, Woo, that has been to like 3 other trainers before, one of those trainers being the dog daddy. And basically she's claiming that, you know, all these trainers ripped her off and nothing got accomplished. And then obviously Canine Intuition came in and saved the day. Before we even watch this, I will start off by saying, as a dog training company, if you're like, because obviously this person is really trying to push this, like, we helped this dog and the dog daddy couldn't help this dog, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
As a training company, if you're, do you, right? Like, if you want to kind of ride that train a little bit and be like, yo, like, we helped this dog. Because obviously, I mean, this is like a sit-down interview he's doing with the woman, right? To, like, basically show, like, there's all these people out there trying to scam you, and we're not scamming you. You damn well better be able to show that this dog, like, not just right after it finished the boarding train, but, like, months from now, is like actually still in a good spot.
The best dog ever.
Right. It really better be, because we all know in the world of behavior modification, this dog in particular, it sounds like, has human aggression issues, right? Has dog aggression issues, stuff like that. We know that the success rate for those types of cases can be all over the map, right? And it has nothing to do with, are you a good trainer? Are you not a good trainer? You know, is this dog helpable or not? It has to do with all the variables surrounding the circumstances of, is the owner commitment? What's the dog's genetic limitations that it has, et cetera, right? So to kind of paint this picture right off the rip that we fixed this dog when nobody else could fix this dog, and to really, really push that and use it as a way to kind of, you know, tear down other people who have worked with the dog. Like I said, you do you, but we also know that you could be the greatest trainer in the world, and this situation still may not work out exactly how you want to. So let's do this. We're going to start with this one. This one is Dog Mom Nearly Loses All Hope, The Story of Woo. I believe this is the interview.
I just hate that she's sitting like that. Can I just say that? I don't know.
I'm not going to judge anybody in this video until I start watching it and I start hearing what they have to say. I will just say, like I said, I think this idea of like doing these interviews and stuff to try to like expose the other trainers that have worked with the dog, there's too many variables. I've had clients come in before that have been to 2, 3 other trainers before. And yeah, in the back of my mind, I'm a little bit like, what the fuck? Like, these other trainers couldn't help, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've even talked about it before with certain ones where it's like, it becomes very apparent that this owner is fantastic in doing the work and they were just given improper information, right? But there are definitely those circumstances where it is not 100% a trainer issue. So let's see what we get.
Mom or owner, however you want to say it. And we're going to talk to her about her story with Woo. How old was Woo when you got him?
He was only 10 weeks old.
Where'd you get him from?
I adopted him from a rescue.
Okay. And he was 10 weeks old when you got him. What type of training did you do with him initially?
So right off the bat, he was crate trained by me. And he didn't have free reign of the house. I had him in kind of probably like a 5x5 playpen whenever I let him out of the crate, he was in that playpen and he was required to stay there. Just, he wasn't allowed to just run all over the house.
Okay.
Other than that, he didn't get any actual professional training until he was about a year old.
When did the behavior start, the behavioral issues? How old was he?
I feel like that's a difficult question to answer because I probably didn't realize he had a problem until he bit someone.
Okay. If you think back to before he bit somebody, can you think of a time in there where maybe he was starting to display certain behaviors?
Yeah, in hindsight, of course. He was very protective of his litter mate.
Okay.
So there was a situation where when he was at the vet, they let me know that he growled at them when they approached him in the kennel. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure of any other scenario because I didn't really take him out a lot. I didn't introduce him to a lot of people outside of the house.
Why was that?
It was COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
COVID did a number on a lot of dogs. So.
Yeah, it was COVID. So everything was closed. People were coming to the house. So he met plenty of people at the house.
Okay.
But I didn't really introduce him to people outside the house. We went on hikes and things, but I didn't really go to like coffee shops and ask them, hey, do you want to meet my dog or anything like that.
How was he when people came in the home?
He was great. I mean, well, he was puppy great.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Excited and happy to greet people.
Okay. And then let's talk about his bite history. He bit one person?
Yes.
Okay.
So that scenario, I was not present. I was leaving for the day to an appointment and I let my friend who was the owner of his litter mate take him on a hike with his litter mate and her boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
And so they went on a hike and on the hike, so her boyfriend was holding my dog. I can't comment on how. I would imagine not well and not controlled. And she was holding her dog. And they were walking up the hill.
Quick pause right off the rip. Just the I can't comment on how he was holding the dog. Probably not well. Listen, I can't do these videos without getting a little bit judgmental over some things. Especially, again, when this whole video is done in attempts to kind of paint a bad picture of other people, obviously. Mm-hmm. Obviously, nothing this woman was doing up until this point was being done very well either because they ran into still bad situations with the dog, right? So, like, just be careful when you're leaving your dog with other people. It's not like you had total control over this dog and you never would have ran into any issues if this boyfriend wasn't holding the dog well and blah, 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 right? Let's be kind of real about that.
Two women were walking down the hill of the hike, and the girl excitedly ran up to woo, arms all out wide. And she was also wearing all black, which he's triggered by all black, wearing all black because of
as she's wearing all black in the video.
The incident that he went through in a training assessment where they put him through a attack scenario.
Okay.
And so with that situation, he, from that point on, kind of had a with anybody wearing all black.
Okay, we'll get into that shortly then. So when was the time that you first...
I'm really curious to see if he's going to have anything to say about this, because here's my other problem with these types of things is like everything she's saying up until this point, right? Like, oh, well, he's triggered by people wearing all black because of a training assessment, an attack assessment, which to fill people in, what I'm assuming the attack assessment was they have the dog loose in a house or something like that, and a person walks in wearing like a bite suit or something like that to see what is the dog actually going to do, right? But like, as a trainer, I think a part of our job when we're working with owners that are in these situations is helping them to kind of weed through a little bit of the bullshit they've created in their own mind a little bit of like, oh, my dog is this way because of this, this, and this, where in many cases, this, and this had zero impact on your dog's behavior. It just coincidentally happened as your dog's behavior was increasing, right, or intensifying. And sometimes again, if our intent is to like paint this picture of like all these bad things that have happened to this dog by all these incompetent trainers before the dog came to us, if you let all of that slide and let the owner just be like, yeah, it's this because of this, and you say, oh yeah, right? A lot of times in those types of situations, it's like you can make everything seem 10 times worse than it actually is.
Yeah.
So
Decided to get him professionally trained.
I already knew that I wanted him to get professionally trained, right? I know that I'm smaller. I needed to be able to control this dog. There was no doubt about it. From day one, I had every intention on training him. So I had started looking for training places probably within probably around 4 months. I started looking, and I had every intention on training him.
Okay.
In the very beginning.
And what was the first place you went to? You don't need to name them, but
So the first place I went to was a place in the Valley, and that was the training assessment.
okay.
This training assessment was with his litter mate and his litter mate's owner. We did it together, and the training assessment really just started out kind of normal, showing him, gosh, what is it called, where they take them up on agility.
Okay.
Right? So some agility and stuff like that. Then they came out and gave us this whole spiel on, like an example dog, basically. Okay. And then they said they wanted to do one more thing. And the end of the session was they turned off all the lights. They left just my friend and I and the 2 dogs, Woo and his litter mate, in the warehouse type looking place. And they shut off all the lights, they left, and when they came back, they had an umbrella, they were creating banging noises really loud. And then they came into the facility with an umbrella charging and then opening and closing the umbrella. So it was essentially trying to create the idea that they were going to attack me to see how the dogs reacted.
And how did he react?
He was terrified.
That is not
He soiled
surprising.
himself. Yeah, he was
Did he?
terrified.
Okay. And what was their response? What did they say at the end of that?
They just recommended the highest level amount of training.
And what was their training program? What did they recommend with that? Was it bite work?
No, they didn't recommend bite work. They recommended protection. They wanted him to become a protection dog.
Okay. And why?
that is bite work.
Yeah.
Well, first off, listen, the training assessment, yeah, that is a little bit. I don't understand. If it went exactly how she's saying, which whatever, it may have, it may not have, I don't know, right? That is very. I'm not really sure what they were looking to get out of that.
Yeah, it's a little kooky.
Right? Like, especially like you look at like and it sounds like obviously given the fact that they recommended protection training, they're probably a protection training company, right? And they're testing to see like in this type of situation, fight or flight, what does the dog do? They're using agitation techniques that they generally would use on a dog that they're training for protection. Like if you wanted to train a protection dog, you would back tie it and then basically kind of antagonize it a little bit. That's obviously one way that a lot of people will historically do it until the dog starts displaying like a forward drive towards you, right? And then you would present like a sleeve or something. So given that he was so terrified in that moment, maybe they were trying to assess his nerves of like in an agitated state, does he go into this complete meltdown panic or does he kind of rise to the occasion with that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Here's the weird thing to me, right? They took both dogs to the assessment, right?
Yeah.
I don't really know why they did that. If they were going there assessing, oh my gosh, like my dog just bit somebody. I need to get training to help the dog not bite somebody.
Yeah.
Here is my potential assessment of what might be going on here.
Okay.
Maybe the dog bit somebody. Maybe because given the fact that she's talking about how the boyfriend was holding the dog improperly and stuff, she may have just chalked that up as whatever. That would never have happened with me. It's because you were handling the dog like shit. They didn't think twice about it. That actually was not the reason why they suck out training. They suck out training because they were interested in making these dogs protection dogs. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They did not seek out behavioral modification help.
Yeah.
They suck out protection training specifically for these dogs, which would then make complete sense why they would have did that assessment to see in a real life situation, what is this dog actually going to do? Does it have the forward drive needs in order to become a protection dog or not? If not, that assessment makes absolutely no sense. But I'll tell you, I'm already getting some vibes from this woman just in the way that she's talking, that she very much thinks that she is in completely the right in all these situations, and that she might be leaving important details out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're getting that vibe or not also.
100%.
But that would make complete sense why that assessment happened that way.
I was
Like, it would make complete sense. If not, it would make zero sense.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be so out of the blue.
Yeah.
If that's not what you were looking for.
But if you were looking for protection training, that's why I took both of them. You and your whoever has the other dog, your friend. Oh, hey, we should go get our dogs protection trained together.
Yeah.
Right? There's no way a reputable training company would handle a behavioral modification assessment that way.
No.
It just, I mean, listen, there's some shit trainers out there, don't get me wrong. But like, it just, the story doesn't quite add up here.
No, it's kind of weird.
With that.
I didn't want him to be a protection dog.
Okay.
There was no need for him to be a protection dog. That's not what I had him for.
Okay. It's a good answer. For sure. When he was doing the agility with them, did he show any
I could be
aggression?
wrong.
No, he was so happy there. He loved it there. He showed no fear, nothing, and tail wagging. He was really, really excited to be there. No signs of aggression or being fearful or anything.
When he left that place, what was his demeanor like after that? Did you start seeing some behavioral problems?
Yes, so what I started to see was anytime there was someone wearing all black, he was afraid. Okay. He would be afraid of them.
And how would you react to them?
So it started with him reacting to the TV. If he saw anybody on TV wearing all black or of darker skin color, he would just start barking at them and barking at the TV, jumping up. After that, I mean, again, I never really had him around people outside the house. So after that, I didn't really introduce him to a lot of people, so I didn't really see it. But honestly, I'm sure there was some signs that I probably missed.
Okay. What did you do next with him?
I found another training facility. That training facility did an assessment, and on the assessment, so that assessment included some bite work.
So in the assessment.
Why do you keep going to places that are doing bite work?
Right.
But you don't want a protection dog, but you keep going to places that are doing bite work.
That's what I'm saying. What?
It doesn't make sense. And also like suddenly he started reacting at the TV and this and that, right? I'm not saying dogs can't be triggered by traumatic experiences. It's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is coincidentally, we hear this all the time where dogs start showing really problematic behaviors between 8 months and a year and a half. They start seeking out training. They have a traumatic experience somewhere in the middle of that. They experience the dog's behavior get like 100 times worse than it was before, right? But in actuality, because the dog is going through maturity right there, whether the dog was in those situations or not, the behavior was going to intensify over the course of that 8 months to a year and a half anyways, right? So, yeah, I don't know. The story's not quite adding up.
No.
Put him into bite work, right?
Yeah, so let me back up a little bit. When we came to the training facility, I had to use the restroom, so I passed Wu off to the training assistant. I left, went to the restroom. When I came back, the lead trainer had a bite sleeve on with the assistant holding Wu and basically pushing him towards doing the bite training. When I questioned why he was doing that, he said he wanted to find out if he was intending to bite him or if he was just playful. But there was no indication as to why he got to that point, right? I wasn't there. He didn't tell me that something happened.
So when you walked in and saw that, was Wu actively trying to bite him at that
Absolutely.
point? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
He was fully, biting the sleeve. He was fully coming in
so he
and
was on the
biting.
bite.
Yeah.
How long did that go on for?
Probably like 30, 45 minutes.
So they did repeated bite exercises with him.
Yeah.
And what was their suggestion for training with him?
They wanted to do a 2-week board and train.
Okay. Did you do it?
Yes. And then the 2 weeks turned to 3, but he was boarded.
All right. And during that time, was the focus bite work?
I don't think so, no. I mean, I don't think so. I hope not.
So what ended up happening with that training?
So that training, he was there for 3 weeks.
Was he with his litter mate on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He was
Why
there
is
for
the
3
litter mate
weeks.
going to all these
They
two?
did, what I understood of the training was that they were just doing obedience.
Okay.
Okay, it was just straight obedience.
Did they give you follow-up work with him?
They were supposed to, and they did not.
So you came in, picked him up after 3 weeks, and what did they say?
They said to come back and do a training, right? So I brought him back for a follow-up training. And in that follow-up training, the trainer was more interested in redeveloping a relationship with Wu than teaching me how to handle him. Because when I brought him back, he wasn't a fan of the trainer anymore. So they had created a really good relationship while he was there. So he would send me a lot of pictures of him, cuddling him, kissing him, stuff like that. So they created a good relationship. But when Wu left and I brought him back a week later, he had started already wanting to go after him.
Okay, so when you took Wu out, that day you picked him up, what did they tell you? Anything? Practice this, practice that? Any tips, tricks, anything that he went through?
We went through agility. When I picked him up, he had some fear trying to climb like these stair-looking things. And so he wanted to take me through this agility course that he had there. Yeah. But other than that, there was no additional training.
Okay. And then after that, what was his behavior like in general? Were you seeing...
This guy's like really leaving out important questions though. Like I would be grilling this lady a little bit more on some of this kind of stuff. Now I understand that's not the intent of what he's doing with this video, but like... Well, how long were you there for, right? Like, how long was the training? What exactly were your homework assignments when you went home? What did you do with him the first week back home, right? What did the trainer, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm getting not great vibes from this woman.
Yeah. Well, dude, like, first thing...
None of it adds up.
No.
Like, just none of it adds up.
First thing she says, she goes to the bathroom, comes back, there's a bite sleep. And then like, okay, so we need to...
Yeah, what were you in the bathroom for like 3 hours? Yeah. Like, while he's like getting the dog off? Like,
yeah, and then
it was 30 to 45 more minutes, of it.
Well, and then like 2 weeks of obedience. She's like, I hope it was obedience. Yeah. I hope it wasn't bite work.
Well, like, what do you mean? What was it? Like,
well, if you didn't like him doing the bite work, why would you have done the fucking board and train?
Yeah. I don't know.
And then, the litter mate thing too. Like,
I don't get it.
It doesn't make sense.
Better as far as more obedient. He would listen to me. He actually sent me like a list of all the commands.
Okay.
Right. I missed that part. He sent me a list of all the commands that he was learning. So I was continuing to use the commands. When I got home, I continued to use the commands and he responded really well to them. He was listening. And at the time, because I didn't understand that there was a bigger issue going on here, I was pleased. Okay, he trained him. I know what I'm doing. Just sheer ignorance, basically.
Got it. But he wasn't a fan of him when he came back?
No.
Tried to bite him? Or just very defensive?
I'll be honest with you, I really don't remember.
Okay.
I just remember that the main thing that he was trying to do was let out his energy. He had a lot of anxious energy going on. Okay. And so he was just playing with him, tug with him, right. Trying to like, I would imagine, I don't know if it's suppress or repress, like some of his emotions or whatever might have been going on.
Okay. So after that training, what did you see with Wu that made you think you need to go to another trainer?
The bite.
Okay, so the bite happened after that?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, so this was after that bite,
what was Wu's behaviors? Yeah. Was he trying to bite people or?
I honestly felt like if I was there, this wouldn't have happened.
Okay.
Right? The way it was described to me, that the leash was just kind of like
She very well may be correct about that. I mean, she very well may be. Like, I always tell everybody, you are at the mercy of the skill set of the people that are watching your dog, whether it's a boarding kennel, a daycare kennel, a friend. If they're handling the dog poorly, the dog is going to misbehave. And this is where I'll be interested to see how this picture kind of gets painted as we move along. But like, you don't fix dogs. We talk about this all the time. You don't fix dogs. You learn how to manage them in their environments and their limitations, right? So that's why I said through all of this, like this picture this trainer is painting of like, we fixed this dog ultimately, or it sounds like he's going to wind up painting. Still, if the dog winds up in that exact same situation, I don't care how much training this trainer did, that same scenario is going to play out exactly the same, right? Which is why I said, you better be damn sure that something like that doesn't happen again, because this dog gets another bite because she leaves it with her fucking friend or whatever, or puts the dog in a bad situation. It's like, well, I thought you said that all these other trainers ruined the dog. Like this first training company, it sounds like didn't really do anything wrong. It sounds like she said, I was very pleased by the end of it. He was responding to me, Yeah. So, I don't know. Let's see where it goes.
And just like kind of let him run wild on the leash type of thing. But as far as how he was acting afterwards, it was more me.
Okay. You were getting more tense with him?
I was now wondering whether or not he should meet people. What I did start to realize was on walks, he would lunge towards animals that were highly reactive. So cats, And
He loves cats.
yeah, on opposites day.
Yeah.
And he would lunge at any reactive dogs.
Okay.
So I was starting to see his energy match the energy of animals on walks. And that kind of developed somewhat of an unpleasant experience while we were walking, because just ripping my arm out every single time he saw something he didn't like.
So then you had the bite, and then you seeked out more of a positive only trainer?
Yeah.
So what we're saying is that actually the bite very well may have happened with her still, because she didn't have control over him around high stimulus things.
Yeah.
She probably just wouldn't have let the owner or the woman run all the way up to the dog. But it's not like she had better control over this dog than her friend's boyfriend had.
Yeah, she just contradicted herself.
A friend of mine, his litter mate, was working with someone and she was having good results. So, mind you, they're entirely different dogs, but she was having good results. So I decided, okay, let me try and do outside training. Let's see what we can do.
Okay, so what was her approach?
Her approach was to avoid any scenarios that would cause him to react. So keeping him in environments that had very little distraction, truly just so like in the house, only training him in the house, training him in the backyard, in the front yard.
And how was that working?
He got 30 times worse. Like he was just so much worse after that. Anytime I would try to take him on a walk after that, and mind you, prior to this, I would take him on walks, and yes, he would be reactive to some dogs, like I mentioned. If there was a reactive dog or cat, sometimes he would lunge at them and, try to go after them. But once I started this training, he was so excited anytime we would go anywhere outside the house that I just couldn't get him to focus, and his behavior just became so much worse.
And how long did you train with her?
About 6 months, weekly.
Weekly, okay. And you were just seeing progressively getting worse. What was her response when you said, hey, it's getting worse, I need help?
She was she believed that we were building a foundation. And if we could get him to stay calm in the house and become, just non-reactive in the house, then we could start to put him in scenarios where we could reward him for not being reactive and continue to just reward and reward and reward for not being reactive. But there was a threshold there. Like we could never get past that threshold. And despite everything we tried, or I tried, I could never take him out of the front yard.
And so you reached out to her again, and you said something about you tried to work with her boss or her partner, or who was that?
Actually, it was probably a little bit more early on that she brought in the person who trained her. Okay. And that person had worked with aggressive dogs before. So the trainer, his main trainer, hadn't before. So this was kind of a new thing for her. She admitted that to me. She had said she wasn't familiar with it. I was okay with that. And she wanted to utilize the knowledge of the individual that had worked with
basically
aggressive dogs. Yes, yeah. Her mentor. Thank you. And so we did take him to go see her, and her mentor basically not only tried to train Wu, but also was training. Yeah.
Cut that.
That's what's hard too. I'm trying to not say names right now.
And that's one of the things that we're trying to do is the only person we're going to talk about in this is Dog Daddy, and I'll explain why when we get
to use his name.
Clout, that's why.
Clout dog. Okay, so one other important thing that he should have jumped in and said here is it was not the training that was making the dog worse, right? Listen, I've talked about it a million times. Force-free training has serious limitations as far as how far you're going to get with stuff. Yeah. But it's not gonna make your dog worse. Your dog is just gonna get worse because you're not addressing the problem. But it's not it's painting this picture that positive only training is going to make your dog worse, which is not the case. The dog is organically going to get worse one way or another. Yep. You're just not addressing the problems.
Point. Our local trainers, man, they mean well. And, we're not going to want to dime them out. But at the same time, I'm hoping they watch this, understand, you got to stay in your lane. You got to know where your limits. Yeah. And when to refer trainers that specialize in this kind of stuff. So, okay, so you basically weren't getting anything. Her mentor, you were reaching out to her.
Stepped in, and we did one training session with her.
How'd that go?
The mentor was more psychologically focused. So
Dog psychology or human
dog psychology.
Okay.
She wanted to know every tiny little detail of what Wu had gone through. One of the things we didn't mention is he had surgery at one point before I took him to. So after the dog bite, that caused a lot of problems for him as well. So all of those things, we discussed all of those things in the session with her mentor.
Okay. So 6 months is up. You were saying to me before that you tried to reach out to the mentor to work with her specifically.
Yes, and I had basically let the trainer know that I wasn't getting the responses I was hoping for. She understood that I needed a little bit faster results, and I moved to trying to work with her mentor.
And what happened there?
She just didn't get back to me.
Okay.
Yeah, she never got back to me.
So after that, then the next trainer you went to, again, we won't name them, but tell me about that.
Okay, this is where it gets hard. So I had thought that what he needed with the positive only results not working for us, I had thought he needed, sorry, I'm going to need a minute.
It's okay. Take your time. So going to the next one, I know and I can feel your pain from this, but you have to understand you don't know what you don't know, right? Mm-hmm. When you go into these situations, you're trusting your trainer. You're trusting your trainer to do the right thing, but you don't know until you get into it. And you trusted this trainer, and this trainer, and I'm going to help you out here a little bit, okay, was heavy-handed with an e-collar.
Yeah, I trusted everyone. I thought that the route that I needed to go was when positive didn't work, let's go towards e-collars. Okay, I had done whatever research I could throughout this whole process. Now I understand he's flagged as aggressive, okay? Let's find out what kind of aggressive he is. Is it fear aggressive? At the time, I didn't know. Right. I had no idea. So I started following other well-known trainers online, YouTube videos, e-collars. And so, I'm starting to get desperate at this point. And I decide, okay, let me find someone that can train him with an e-collar. And so this person had been a trainer at some sort of training facility for like 15 years, and he left and he decided that he wanted to do his own thing. I had numerous conversations with him, letting him know already the situation and how I wasn't getting any results. And it was just like, it's going to be the easiest thing. It's not going to be a problem. I'll take care of it. We're going to train on the e-collar. And, he's going to walk out here, and either he's going to walk out here completely redeemed in 3 days training, or he's irredeemable.
And he just basically used the e-collar for punishment?
Yes. At one point, he double collared him, and Max. It was also a collar that was considered, I don't know what they call them, but it was the ones that run high. So double collared Max, he was yelping. So we weren't getting the results, right? And mind you, he told me if we don't get results, he's got a chemical problem with his brain. There was never a discussion of maybe my methods won't work for him and maybe somebody else's will. It was mine are going to work, or there's something chemically wrong with your dog, and then he can never meet someone ever again.
How was his behaviors after that?
So much worse. So much more afraid. Even the second session when I pulled up, he was freaking out. He's already registered pain with this individual or this location.
Right. And that was about the time after that you reached out to us. Is that right?
Yes.
How come you didn't come in?
That was me trying to look for an easy out. That was me not wanting to take responsibility for the part that I played in this entire role. It was me terrified of parting with him for 6 to 8 weeks, and really just hoping that I could find an easier, quicker solution.
And you asked the other trainer about me, is that right? The positive only trainer?
Yes, I did.
You asked the positive only trainer about me. What was her response?
I personally didn't ask her. Wu's litter mate's mom asked her, who had been working with her, and she said that she wasn't a fan of your methods. Okay. She thought that if you have to use force, that there might not be, that she just didn't believe that force was needed.
And then after that, you went to Dog Daddy?
Yes. So I didn't learn my lesson.
Dog Daddy. All right, so Dog Daddy, real quick, is, and the reason why I'm naming Dog Daddy is because he's not a trainer in our opinion. He is a showman. There is no trainer out there that's going to be able to fix your dog in one session. Training takes time, but he's out there selling a dream, making you think he can fix your dog by coming to a group class, charging you $400, demonstrating how well he can use his defensive leash handling skills and shut the behavior down. But we want to clarify to people that you're not going to get results this way. And the only way to really demonstrate this to people is to show her story, her side of it, her experience with Dog Daddy. So let's go. Let's talk about him. How'd that go?
So I had been watching him for a while on social media. And again, still in my mindset that there's got to be a quick fix here. I can't part with my dog for 6 to 8 weeks. And I really combed those comments, like really looking for whether or not somebody said anything negative about this man, anything at all, that any sort of sign that he did not help them. And there's a lot of politics going on in those comments. But there were numerous ones that I found where people would say, oh, he helped my dog, right? My dog is so much better. Now I realize they probably weren't real. But anyways, I ended up booking a session. I did a group session and they announced, I want to say the day before, where the session was going to be. And, when I show up and immediately he was reactive, I had him muzzled. He was very nervous, very, very nervous.
Woo was nervous.
Woo was, yeah. So the training itself really wasn't training. Dog Daddy came into the group session and talked about some basic, how he was going to handle, he was going to go through each dog and approach them. And then that's what he did. He started to approach each dog. And every time he would approach each dog, he would really just manhandle them the entire time.
Did you say flinging him around was a good?
Flailing, flinging.
And when you got to Woo, what was that like?
You met his match, for sure. Woo did not stop. No. He was not going to stop. He just kept going and being flailed around. Dog Daddy eventually just handed him back to me because Woo wouldn't stop. He did his rounds to the other dogs again. He tried to take Woo back and same exact thing happened. Woo did not stop. Woo would not get tired out. And that's what I was starting to realize, that he was getting just tired it out.
He's a tenacious dog. He really is.
So that was it, really. He was also training trainers there.
Great.
So
got more of them coming.
Yeah. So with that, he didn't want to handle Woo anymore because obviously that wasn't helping. And now it was, okay, let's try to train me. He did try to teach me how to walk with Woo around the area, but at the same time, he's doing this for everybody. Okay. So really, combined, you're getting maybe like 15 minutes of his time.
And then did he air?
And this is just group classes in general, guys. We talked about it when we had him on the podcast the last time, where I discussed exactly that. I agree with what they're saying, that session is absolutely not going to fix anything, right? I agree that I don't like how he kind of paints the picture that is going to fix everything. But like, there are 8 million dog trainers out there on the planet that are offering group classes. That same deal. You're paying X amount of dollars for a 4-session group class, and you're getting maybe 30 minutes of one-on-one attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just the problem with it is it's the whole format of everything. Excuse me, is kind of bullshit. But it sounds like she paid $400 for that, which I think is a lot cheaper than what I've heard in the past that it is. Mm-hmm. $400 is about what you're going to pay to go to any sort of working spot at any seminar. So I don't think that's like, I don't think that she got absolutely gouged out the eyes by him for that. I think if anything, like if you go to a seminar and you pay $400, you're not going to have your dog fixed. And this is where I don't know how he advertises his stuff as like group classes or what, but if he just advertised it as like a working spot as a seminar, I think that also would probably alleviate a lot of his problems. And again, we're not even talking about the actual training he's doing right now, just the way he's marketing his training. But if he advertised it as like a seminar, I think that would make it clear, like you're paying for a seminar spot, which a seminar spot is in order to like just learn a little bit more about your dog and to learn a little bit more about some of our methods that we have, but it's not like I'm selling you a complete training program that's going to fix your dogs. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's not really a Dog Daddy problem. It's just
it is because he's marketing it poorly. Right.
Yeah, true. I guess so.
But yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
Whose story?
He did. He aired Woo's story, and I was floored. I couldn't believe it because the video showed basically Woo being great, really, really difficult. And then they basically cut it all and pieced it together in a way that made it seem like he just saved a dog in a day.
Did you ask him to take the video down?
Immediately contacted them, asking them to please take down the video.
Okay. And he did?
Yes, he did.
So now you've seen Woo, you've seen his other trainers, then you came to us. And
I appreciate that. It sounds like she asked him to take it down. He took it right down. That's very nice of him. Now, the other thing, though, is like if he did make a before and after video of the dog being horrible and then being really good with her, in this video, she just said that at no point was he ever good with him.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying he's in the right. I'm not saying she's in the right, but there is definitely missing pieces in that still.
Yeah, exactly.
what our approach is going to be. Describe the difference between our approach and Dog Daddy's approach.
Yeah, this is where you get into like the intent of this video. Tell everybody why we're so much better than the Dog Daddy.
I mean, is there any comparison to it?
Well, when people look at it and you watch me doing my leash handling skills, there's some similarities.
Oh, okay. So you're not trying to tire him out. You're not just yanking him around trying to tire him out. You are trying to, what it seems like, is take control and let him know that behavior is not warranted.
That's fair.
Wait, so what's different about that than what Dog Daddy is doing? So this is where, as this trainer, he's allowing her to spew stuff that is not totally accurate. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's not a difference, right? Like, because that's exactly what, and I'm not saying either approach is good. Yeah. I'm just saying that's exactly what Dog Daddy is doing as well.
Yeah, 100%.
At least that was my take from it.
I know you're very nervous your first lesson here. How did you feel when you left?
I felt really good, actually, really, really good. I was mostly nervous because I didn't want to part with him.
Right.
But I had nothing but positive thoughts about it. You were so confident. I had confidence in you. And it's important to note that at this point, I had no confidence in trainers anymore at all. I trusted everyone at first, and then by the time I hit Dog Daddy, or actually by the time Dog Daddy, I was just like, this is just fraud everywhere. There's fraud everywhere, and I got to find somebody that's going to help him.
Now, we've been airing Woo's story, and we've had a lot of positive comments, and we've had a lot of negative comments.
Right.
And we can kind of tell who the negative comments are from, tend to be the force-free, positive-only trainers. Did you get reached out to by one?
I did.
Tell me about that.
He first requested me on social media, and then based on his flag, or his handle, I thought that, he may be there to help or to admire, to applaud the situation or follow the situation, I'm not sure. And then he private messaged me telling me that he's there for me. He'd been following the situation and he's there for me if I need somebody. And I let him know, thank you, I appreciate that, but he's in good hands now. And then that's where the criticism came rolling in. He sent me the video, one of the videos that you had posted. He sent it to me and said, well, what I'm seeing here is not this. You don't do this. You don't pin down a dog. This is not okay. And then soon thereafter moved towards calling me names. I'm ignorant, which I'll never pretend not to be ignorant here. Obviously, I'm ignorant, but it's, I have confidence in what you're doing, right? And if any trainer is going to approach somebody, please don't try and take their business, right? But also, I have to believe in this. I have to believe in it. And not only that, I'm seeing the results. So, whereas I hadn't seen the results before. So it was just wrong. In my mind, it was even worse is that he had said he understands because he had been through a similar situation. And it's always, I have 100% results. And the thing is like,
which is impossible, by the way.
Right.
I don't have 100% results. There's not a trainer out there that does.
Right. Thank you for saying that. That's really important. And not only that, just if you know what this is like, who are you to bash me?
Right.
Who are you to tell me, that I'm making a mistake here, that I'm wrong for what I'm doing? Let me learn on my own.
It's the shame.
Right. Don't shame me.
Right. They're shaming you for trying something that doesn't confine or conform to their thought process, their ideology.
Right.
And so if you don't conform to how they think, then you are X, Y, and Z.
Right. And it's very ego driven, and it's a shame because there's no doubt in my mind there are a lot of methods out there, and a lot of those methods work for a lot of dogs. But exactly like you said, saying your methods are going to redeem every single dog and turn every single dog into this perfect dog, it's false.
Yes.
Right? Drop the ego, sympathize with these people, and start to work with each other. What is so horrible about working with another trainer when your methods don't work? What is so horrible? It's all a learning process.
And now, see, the thing is, we're talking about different trainers. We're talking about Dog Daddy. We're talking about force-free trainers. But something you heard today, too, is there's some really jacked up, balanced trainers out there, too. She had some horrible experiences. Yeah, I would never put a dog like Woo into bite work. I'm not a bite instructor, so I'm not, an expert in that. But he's a very insecure dog, and we just gave him a tool. And if you watch, every hit he does with me is straight out of bite work. I mean, he's going right for the same spot every single time. And then you have a guy who's just lighting your dog up with an e-collar and then telling you, he's not fixable, not redeemable. So it's not that balanced trainers are better. Balanced trainers use more tools, more aspects of training. We're using 4 quadrants within there. We're using positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment. We're using everything that is within the laws of nature, how any animal would learn. Positive only uses really 1. In a situation where, like Woo, you have to tell Woo no. You have to tell him that is wrong. You have to show him other options, but you still have to tell him it's wrong. And so when we talk about this, I am all for positive only training and force-free training if that works for that dog. Where I have an issue with it is when they bash clients, when they attack trainers, when they try to pass laws that prevent us from being able to do the work that we do with dogs like Woo.
For dogs that need it.
Right. So for some dogs, easygoing dogs, yeah, positive reinforcement's great. Go for it. But for dogs with some severe behavioral issues, it's not applicable. And then to take trainers like the one who lit him up with an e-collar, and they're passing themselves off as balanced trainers when realistically they're heavy-handed abusers. Every tool we use can be a tool of abuse. Food is a tool of abuse. A flat collar can be a tool of abuse. It's how you use it. It's the intent that you have with it that matters. How did today go?
Amazing.
Today was our big test day for him, right? And so tell me your thoughts.
It was amazing. It was amazing to experience him loving to meet people. And also it was very healing for me to experience him wanting to approach people, happy to approach people, and getting all that love. It was
Awesome.
wonderful.
So we're wrapping up this interview. Is there any final message you want to give to people out there whose dogs are in need?
Don't give up. No matter what, do not give up on them. And please don't listen to anybody that points you away from whatever method that you are choosing to go with. You have to keep going towards what is best for your dog. And that's it.
Excellent. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. So I think we learned a lot today. This experience has been, awesome with Woo. His mom is a trooper. I appreciate everything she's done and how she's leaned into the program. So we'll come up with a whole final episode for Woo so you guys get to see that and follow his stories. Biggest thing is find the right trainer. Find a trainer that has proven results, that can show you in film exactly what has happened. Doesn't claim certain things, but actually can prove it. Ask for references.
Okay, so this was March. Newest. Let's see. Kimbo. So 2 months ago. So both of these came out the same time.
Were you sold a dream? Were you told that they could fix your dog? But
First off, quick reaction to that whole video.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just this is the problem is like when you run it, first off, that whole video was filmed, it sounds like right when the dog went home.
Yeah.
I've had 1,000,001 clients I've worked with where the dog did a board and train, and I get the dog looking really good in the board and train, and we show the owner everything the dog is capable of in those first couple of days back home, and then things start getting totally derailed as they go back into the house, and as the owner does not do the things that they need to do, and then we've got a lot more work we need to do on the back end, right? So I'm a little bit not convinced just based on how that whole picture was painted of like, look, we fixed it. Here's this big interview of how we fixed it before the dog has even had a chance to succeed at home, right? That is a little bit not great and done in a way to try to just kind of hype up the work that he's doing, right? I don't like how he painted the heavy-handed e-collar trainer and the bite work trainer and the dog daddy and the this and that, but also we absolutely have to tell this dog no still. And the one thing Michelle told me in her text is somewhere in this video, we're not going to watch this whole thing obviously, but somewhere in this video, he's like alpha rolling the dog and like pinning it on the ground and stuff like that, acting like that's so much better, right? You just said we use positive reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment. Guess what the rules of positive punishment are? The rules of positive punishment are that the sensation needs to be aversive enough to the dog in order to make the dog want to stop. So guess what? If that took a double boss e-collar in order to get the dog to stop, I'm not saying that they did it in the right spot or they should have done it or this or that, but clearly if your alpha rolling worked and that didn't, your alpha rolling was 10 times more aversive to the dog than that fucking double box e-collar.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like, let's not try to play this fucking like dick measuring contest of like, my punishment is so much better than your punishment.
Yeah.
Let's just skim through this.
Failed to follow through? Were you guilted into believing that e-collars and slip leashes are inhumane and cruel to use in your dog? Well, during this new series called Woo, named after this guy, we're going to highlight the differences between different types of dog trainers. We're going to start with Dog Daddy, as seen in the beginning of this video, but then more importantly, we're going to talk about the force-free training community. Now, both these type of trainers and training styles are on opposite ends of the training spectrum, but we believe both are equally toxic.
Here, boom, right? He lunges, you got that. Okay? And he is now in a position of disadvantage. You are in a position of advantage. So you're in the handle, you're controlling. This is what I want to see every single time you're with him. Your leash is your friend, use it in the house. If he lays on you, if he rubs on you, if he does anything,
that I'm going to experiment with a different approach with him because I don't want to deal with that energy inside the kennels. He's just too strong, he's too big, he's fast. So if I can make a dent in the relationship between him and I think it's going to be a better approach.
See, he's mad dogging the shit out of me right now. One step, oh, I got you, right? Exactly what he's saying. But it's a start. Plus,
we're going to do some work with him today. He's going to end up coming in as a board and train, but we're going to start his training today.
How is this?
He claims his mom a lot, so if you come anywhere near mom, it's a fight. This dog's
the
going
exact
after you.
same
He's a
thing
bulldog
Dog Daddy
mix,
does.
and he's
hold
strong.
on. Let's fucking watch that again.
Follow
here.
Woo's story and see what it took to rehabilitate him. So we got a dog coming in today. His name is Woo. He came in a couple weeks ago for an evaluation. It was intense, to say the least. This dog shows a lot of human aggression issues around his mom. He went to many different trainers before coming to us, including a dog daddy guy online that you guys have
probably looks pretty
seen.
similar.
He claims his mom a lot.
Looks pretty similar to me.
dog has to know that.
The only difference is that obviously she only had one day with the dog daddy, and she's got a whole board and train with him, which obviously is the more ideal approach. I'm fully saying, like, if you have the choice between one day with dog daddy and a full program with this guy, this is probably going to be much better.
Yeah.
But I just watched him do the exact same defensive leash handling stuff that the dog daddy does. The only difference is he only showed like 3 seconds of his. Mm-hmm. That shit. See, that's the shit that frustrates me. And then he's trying to get clout off of, look, we fixed the dog and the dog daddy can't.
The rule I made was I couldn't cuddle my dog until not a single hair was touching me, and he was.
There you go. Now stand right over here. And do me a favor.
What are these dog training outfits, too, that she's wearing?
I don't know.
I said I want you to focus on that. So there's no stress or tension or worry about what's going to happen. Okay? Now step out a little bit so I'm not that's right here. Deep breath in.
Woo, okay. Go. Woo, okay. Go. Good. Yes. Be a little more inviting. Do a little forward, more forward. Face him.
This outfit
There
she's
you go.
wearing now.
Thank
Like,
you.
what is
Got a turtleneck.
Down. Get down.
a turtleneck crop top?
There you go. There you go. Good job, dude. Good job, dude. Really excited. We're going to kind of get into leash sensitivity right now. So I got to first figure out where his numbers are. So now I'm just going to let him hit the end of the leash and going to apply a little e-collar pressure to it each time he does that. Yeah, as you guys have seen in some of the, but I found, all right, so I'm going back to express what it is you want or to claim something. That was great.
I think I got a friend.
You think you got a friend?
Good boy, Baba. Okay,
Turn now.
let's go.
What have you done? A puppy.
Okay, no, that was good. That was good. He's not doing it.
Hello.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. Not bad.
Come here.
Okay.
Come here, buddy.
Not quite there yet.
Come here.
There you go. Relax it. Relax it. There you go. Okay.
Good boy,
Just get into
Baba.
that.
I'm not seeing anything I horrendously disagree with on this, but what I am saying is clearly what they've done is they've created a very, very strong recall with this dog that obviously, just based on the video they just showed of him teaching the e-collar recall, has been heavily reinforced with the e-collar. The dog's glued up to her. The dog, and listen, I'm not one that cares about this too much, honestly, because I think that stress is inevitable when you're dealing with dog training, but the dog is stressed out of his marbles. His tail is literally tucked.
Sense of just, hey, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
I'm Eric.
Good. Hi. How are you?
Nice. This your doggy?
It
Okay,
is. Oh,
all right. Okay, that's good. It's good. Pet him. It's fine.
pet him. Pet him.
It's fine.
Good boy, Woo.
Back at Lowe's, we've got his mom with us, and this is a big test because he's been great with us, but we to be perfect. There's a lot of history in this neighborhood that we have to work through. The biggest lesson I want her to take away is that frustration is the biggest killer to communication, and that the frustration is a big test for her to get him into a crowd of people like this. A lot of things going on, food, smells, dogs, all sorts of stuff. Ready for that. But I feel good about the results we got. I feel very happy seeing him and his mom enjoying their time together, being able to walk through a place like this, which honestly, before he came here, wasn't possible. And now it is. So
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm happy that they were able to get some results with this dog. You know what I mean? Obviously, it seems like they're doing similar stuff to what we're doing. Like I'm seeing the public outings and some of the e-collar handling and the leash handling and, even the defensive initially, the dog's coming at you, you got to get it under control. Like I don't see anything that I disagree with in the video, right?
Yeah.
I'm happy that she found somebody who has a complete program that will work this dog start to finish and hopefully past even what we saw will provide good follow-up support because we know 6 months down the road, things are going to start getting dicey again as you start moving past kind of what I call the honeymoon stage of dog training.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like how they're using this dog as a way to just shoot down everybody else and like prop themselves up.
Yeah.
That is what I don't like about it. And especially like how they're they're trying to make it the other thing too is if they were just saying like, listen, Dog Daddy's format of his seminars is, and I hate that this is like turning into like me like trying to like defend the Dog Daddy. Like that's not at all what I'm trying to do here. But it would be a different story if they were just trying to say, yo, forget the training methods and stuff. Just that approach of the one-day seminar, it's not going to help you.
Yeah.
Right. But they're trying to paint it out like Dog Daddy was being this like abusive, heavy-handed, firm trainer on the dog. When in actuality, we literally saw a 2-second clip that you put in this video. I wish you would have put the whole thing so we could have seen the whole thing.
Yeah.
But we're seeing you do the same thing. The only difference is we know that it is step number one of a long training program.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of saying, okay, Dog Daddy did step number one of a very long training program that needed to get done, you said, no, everything he did was wrong, actually.
Yeah, 100%.
Actually, it was bad. So I don't know. So that's my take on this whole situation. Hell yeah, right? I'm happy to see people out there helping dogs like that. I'm happy to see people that are providing the owner education needed because that is something that's missing in the dog world quite a bit, is that there's a lot of trainers doing boarding trains and they don't spend any time with the owner, and then it all goes out the window. I think there was some serious discrepancies as far as the interview, as far as kind of the order of operations of what happened and why other training programs may have failed. That didn't quite make sense to me. I don't like the guy's attitude of how he's painting the picture of they could fix this dog when nobody else can fix this dog. But I'm happy to see that the dog is being helped. So that's my 2 cents.
It's all that matters. The dog is getting helped. Yeah, I was wondering, like, if I remember correct, so Dog Daddy, like, he has, like, doesn't he have, like, a program for trainers to, like, under his wing or something?
Like
it's something
He's
like
got
that.
some sort of trainer's course thing.
Yeah, but that's, like, actually, like, a training, like, those trainers have, like, actual courses, right, that work with him?
What do you mean?
Like, the trainer, like, his trainer's program or whatever, like...
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
I think it's like a 2 or 3 day long thing where you go and learn from him.
Yeah, see, I was just wondering if it was like, you know, you go to this, like, if you're not a trainer, and then, like, he can guide you to one of the trainers that he is.
Oh, I think
That
he was
kind of thing.
saying he's going to kind of try to do that.
Yeah.
I think, listen, I also want to clarify, like, our last episode we did with him, I kind of at the end of it grilled him a little bit on, like, yo, like, I really think that you should try to, like, fix your branding a little bit, more or less. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're branding yourself in a poor light, which is causing you to be the victim of, like, a lot of these types of videos.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it could be fixed with just better branding.
Yep.
I don't necessarily think he's done much to change that. I'll just say, you know, if anything, I think that he's just kind of, he's actually over the last couple of months been posting significantly less dog training content and more just content of, like, just trying to, like, spark, like, attention. Like, he's just, like, he's the king of trying to go viral.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's got this whole thing right now of how he has this Uber dog, these videos going stupid viral, like 10 million views, stuff like that. How supposedly, like, a month ago, he got in an Uber and found that somebody abandoned a puppy in an Uber, and that he took the dog out himself, and now he keeps posting all these updates about how he's facing legal battles from the old owners trying to get the dog back and this and that. But coincidentally, the puppy that he found in the Uber is the same long-haired black German Shepherd that all of his other dogs are. But he is riding this so hard. Like, he's made like 10, 15 videos about this fucking dog he found in an Uber. And you go in the comment section, and all these people are, like, believing it.
Of course.
They're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Praise Dog Daddy for saving this Uber puppy and all this kind of stuff. It's like the contract. Like, listen, if that's what he wants, more power to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
He's making that TikTok money.
He's making that TikTok money, but, like, yeah, it's a little ridiculous. So listen, like, that's my 2 cents of, like, hey, I'm not all fucking Team Dog Daddy here, right?
No.
I've said it a million times. I don't think his methods are as bad as everybody says that they are. I think that they are step one of a very long training process, but he markets them and paints them as they are step 1 through end, you know?
Yep.
Which is the issue.
Yeah.
So I guess I can understand kind of why this guy would be like, yo, listen, like, you know, like, it's not the way you think it is. I just don't like how he painted the picture of that it was, like, bad and that he was, like, being, like, abusive towards the dog and stuff. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on everything.
Yeah, and the only other thing that I agree with you on, I also agree with you on, is he said something in there in that video. It was like, not, you know, our local trainers, we're not.
They mean well.
Yeah, they mean well.
They mean well.
But stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
It's like, okay, it's just, we love you, but I'm going to talk shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yep.
That's all we got for you guys today.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we did a little reaction video, so there you go.
There you
we got
go.
it for you.
Enjoy.
So enjoy it. We'll catch you guys on episode 166. How about that?
We'll see y'all.
Catch y'all then.